2 days later, the Germans changed tactics and sent a large formation of Heinkel bombers. They drop over 70 tons of bombs. This time, they are successful and hit their target. The factory building is destroyed, Spitfire production is stopped, and over 150 civilians lie dead. In London, Lord Beaverbrook, Minister for Aircraft Production, learns that the factory is out of action. Within a few hours of the riot, he arrives at Southampton to assess the situation. By now, it is clear that although the fabric of the supermarine works has been destroyed, much of the tooling and equipment is intact.
Lord Beaverbrook arrived here at the works, and I was sent for with other people to see this wizened-faced little man. And we got in there, and all of a sudden he started thumping the table. And I don't mind it, I wasn't in the mood to be thumping much about it for 2 days of this. And he thumped the table and said, "Look, I want more Spitfires, more Spitfires."
Beaverbrook and Supermarine senior managers implement a strategy to keep Southampton building Spitfires. The plan is to disperse production of different component parts of the aircraft throughout the town.
On the Sunday, I stood up team looking for suitable premises. There was one across the road here, which was a Sunlight laundry. As the Spitfire equipment was moving in, so the calendar laundry machinery were going out. Next door to that was the Hanson Dorset bus station, which we took over.
A network of mini factories are established throughout the town and beyond. Within 5 days of the bombing, Cyril Russell is back at his tools building Spitfire fuselages, but now at Hendy's garage in the town centre. The dispersal plan works, and as the autumn draws in, the focus of the German bombers moves towards other targets. For the time being, it seems Southampton is safe. However, in November, the Luftwaffe returns. This time, their bombs fall on the town centre. For 2 nights, a concentrated attack destroys much of the high street and commercial district.
Terrible in its awe and majesty, the town had become a blazing furnace in which every living thing seemed doomed to perish. The sky was a crimson canopy, probed by the silver beams of 100 searchlights. All fortunate enough to find accommodation in the neighbouring towns and villages joined the long columns of vehicles which at dusk streamed out of the town in all directions. Saddest spectacle of all was the mighty trek of the less fortunate, on foot, with prams and pushcarts containing their scanty bedding. Men, women and children trudged into the night to sleep in schools, barns or in outhouses, or to wander in the woods till morning.
By 1941, the threat of invasion had faded. Although Southampton was still a target for enemy aircraft, London and the industrial Midlands became the priority for the bombers. The town had been badly damaged and its population shocked. In total, over 25,000 bombs had been dropped on Southampton. 40,000 properties had been damaged or destroyed. But despite this, Spitfire production was only stopped for a few days. As plans were made for the liberation of Europe, the area became a vital staging post for D-Day. In fact, over 2 million American troops would embark at Southampton, destined for the front line. After the war, Southampton was rebuilt and is now a thriving commercial city. However, if you look closely, it's easy to find the cracks caused by high explosive bombs, the odd gap in a row of houses where a family once lived, and of course the memorials to the 631 civilians who were killed.
So you're safe to pop over to the warden's post now. It's just over there next to the pub. Okay, move along there. Casualty coming through. Oh, it's taken all night to get this poor chap out from under the button of his house. Luckily the rest of the family were in the shelter. Looks like we finally defused that unexploded bomb, so you're safe to pop over to the warden's post now. It's just over there next to the pub.
Hello there. Good timing. You just caught me on a break after last night's bombing. You caught a couple of high explosive bombs. It's been a huge task on the airway precaution team, firemen, rescuers, and first aid parties to get them provided. Confident in the report from last night to give to Ken. Our young ARP lessons who just arrived on the bicycle. I live a few doors away. You should be able to catch my missus before she goes to the women's voluntary service at the salvage collection point. She's been busy giving hot drinks and food to all those people who lost their homes last night. Poor blighters. Anyhow, go take a look at our Morrison shelter. Took us 2 days trying to put that thing together, but we feel much safer now. So, it's tea around the Morrison shelter before the kids get off the bed underneath it.
Luckily the rest of the family were in the shelter.
Been evacuated. Those people who haven't been bombed out have moved, and the people who are left get away at nights to avoid the raids.
Heard you might have some more candles going. Can't seem to get any now for love nor money.
You're in luck. Managed to get some from the bomb sites over the other side of town.
Okay, move along there. Casualty coming through.
I spoke to a woman who lived next to a Baptist chapel that had been hit. She was buried under the wreckage of her completely demolished house. She was suffering badly from shock.
The first thing I knew was dust started to fall on me. The floor gave way, and I immediately realized what was happening. The roof came down. I covered my head with my hands and wondered, frankly, whether this was the end.
That space that the window is in was filled with wall bricks with a loose cement fixing, so that should we become trapped and not able to get out of the door, the wall bricks could be smashed out the back. That would afford us escape hatch. Most times we had candles or a little oil lamp, but invariably we had no light whatsoever at all. The hours were dragging interminably on, and the longest time we ever spent was 13 solid hours on a bitter cold night with icicles and hanging from the roof. It was literally like sitting in a refrigerator, listening for the next wave of enemy bombers that would come over, and you could tell they were heavily laden because you could hear this whom, 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 whom. And then as soon as they dropped their bomb, it was whom, whum, 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 and away they went. And we sat just waiting, crunched up, and praying that what they'd let go was going to go somewhere else and not onto us.
Luckily, the rest of the family were in shelter. Looks like we finally defused that unexploded bomb, so you're safe to pop over the rules post now. It's just over there next to the pub. Okay, move along there. Casualty coming through.
The Home Guard claimed their first victim with the shooting down of a Dornier by concerted rifle fire.
I didn't join till 41 when I was 15. The proper age was supposed to be 17. But they were not too selective then and not too worried about it. And I went in front of Major Cop first off, and he said, "How old are you, son?" And I said, 17, sir. He said, "Well, you look big enough." Okay, you're in. And for quite some time, I was in what they called the infantry. Some few days later, I was issued with a full uniform. The only difference with the army uniform was that we had leather anklets and the army had webbing anklets. The regimental badge was the same as the Hampshire Regiment, which was a tiger surmounted by a rose, surrounded by a laurel wreath. Underneath the legend Hampshire, it was affectionately known by everybody else as the old cat and cabbage. I remained as an infantryman there for quite some time, principally guarding the crossing in Redbridge and Redbridge Meadows, also in King George V dock and Southampton docks itself, and sometimes on duty in the barracks itself overnight. After some couple of years or so, I was transferred to anti-aircraft.
Now a well-earned tribute to the men of the anti-aircraft defences who daily win glory in the protection of our land. The boys of the RAF would be first to acclaim the work of our gunners, whose splendid marksmanship is increasingly proving so costly to the raiding Huns.
And we were told that the particular weapons we were going on were top secret and we weren't to talk about them at all. But actually what they were quite simply rocket guns. And the battery that I was involved with was at Marchwood. And the battery had 68 guns. 64 of those guns were operational, 4 would be used for training. Each gun fired 2 rockets, all guns fired simultaneously. So if we got the order to fire, and at no time did we ever fire those in anger, although we wish many times we could have done, you would have had 128 rockets going up all in one go, performing what they call a box barrage.
Made in Germany, finished in Britain. The tide is turning. Every man and woman, uniformed or working clothed, is in the front line. Crusaders of the home front, the Navy, the Army, and the Air Force fight in the battle for civilization.